my name is Ayelet HaShachar. I am the other half of Hello Penrod. So I have a day job, which the slide says. I actually work for a security awareness training company, doing marketing and community management. I got into cyber thanks to Yoel, like over 3 years ago, and there I learned about, there's a lot I didn't realize. We need to kind of up our game as individuals. So I've become a security awareness advocate and joined Wizer earlier in the year. And at night, I assist Hillel with the comics. So what do you get when you merge the two together? You get a lot of slides with superheroes. So hope you enjoy. Yeah, we'll go from there. Can y'all see okay? Do you want to?
No, yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right, so just the space bar, yeah? Awesome. So I wanted to just kind of do some basics on securing your small business. And I have the lovely Gozen, our superhero character. She's actually based off of female samurai warriors called the Onabugeisha. And Onabugeisha were those who were trained to defend their homes and their livelihoods during that period. And so as business leaders and business owners, I really want to encourage us today to be like an Onabugeisha and to have kind of a defensive attitude and learning more that threats are real and are current and do relate to small business. If cyber villainy were a world economy, it would actually rank number 3 behind US and China. To me, that's like a mind-blowing stat. But I really think it paints the picture of the reality that cybercrime is a big deal and it's big business. Crime today, cybercrime, is actually set up as a business. They have, leads, they run ads, they have a sales funnel, they even have customer support to help you pay your ransom. So I mean, it really is a concern. And it's not just about people who are super technical, right? Because it's become such a huge business, a person with low-level tech skills can, register to Ransomware as a Service company and pay $30 a month and get access to this nifty ransomware feature and, buy compromised details and then set it to run. So it is a real thing, but my goal here today is not to scare anybody. My goal is to equip us with knowledge so that we can actually take the steps. And the good news is that there's a lot of basics that we can do, and as long as we create new habits, we've already done a lot to protect ourselves. Just to paint just a little bit more though, 43% of all data breaches target small business. A lot of people like to think, I'm too small to be targeted, I'm not important, I don't have any money, what are they gonna get from me? But the reality is like I said earlier, today it's low-level tech people. They can do spray and pray attacks. They don't have to be targeting you specifically by name. But they set the traps, and if you fall into it, then you go into their sales funnel, right? And we want to avoid that. We want to lower our risk, and we want to increase our protection. And security is all about layers, right? So every layer that you can do. I'm going to give you a lot of information today. I don't expect you to go out and do it all at once, but just start with one thing that you're not doing and add to it. So we'll go on there. This is a great quote I thought from Josh Lutton. He's with Global Cyber Alliance. They're a partner of Wizer. But basically, we really need to shift our mindset. Cybersecurity has to be, it's a new life skill. Just like we teach our kids to look both ways before they cross the street, just like we put on our seatbelts without thinking, we have to incorporate new habits as part of our daily digital life to add that layer of protection. And just like as business owners, you do taxes, you try to make sure your books are taken care of, security needs to be on that list as well. So let's talk a little bit about some of the tactics, right? Now, some of you probably are aware of phishing attacks. You're aware that you need to kind of evaluate and look at the URL. Is there a mistake? Is this the legitimate URL? So can you tell me where is the mistake in this?
In the URL?
Okay. All right, so if you're wondering, the mistake is actually not in the URL. And that is what cyber criminals also and fraudsters, they try to do what we like to, technically term social engineering, but they like to misdirect and distract. All right, they know we're busy, they know we're in a hurry, and they use that to their advantage. So our job is to become aware of what are these techniques, learn to look for the red flags so that we can stop, take a step back and go, wait a minute, right? So we don't fall into those traps. So I'm going to just quickly run through 7 types of phishing scams. Is anybody not aware of what a phish is? Okay, so a phishing scam is basically where securities online, right, or scammers online send you a message and they pretend to be someone else they're not, right? They impersonate either a business, a friend, somebody in your contacts, or a provider that you use, like Amazon or Google. And they try to get you to click on a link or take an action, right, that will be in their benefit and not yours, okay? So there's 7 kind of typical ways that they do this. The most common one is through email. And I'm just gonna kind of go, I know it's kind of small, but so we'll take Google for example. They like to use well-known brands, right? And they're gonna create a message and tell you something about your account is wrong. Maybe somebody tried to access it, right? But there's flags that you can look for. And so anytime you get a message or a correspondence, don't act, stop, and take a step back. So first off, go, is this making me feel something emotional? Am I getting nervous? Am I scared? Am I worried? Am I concerned? Or am I even excited, right? Black Friday deal, woo, right? If you feel that emotion and you recognize it, take a moment and stop and step back. And then look at the sender, right? In the Google sender, the from here, it's from Google at team-support.net. Is that an official Google email? If it's coming from Google itself? Now Google does have a few different official domains they use, right? But if I do just a real quick search, I can find that that's not an official one. So immediately I know, stay away. But even if I'm still not really sure, hover over the link, right? The button or the link that they have and they want you to take action, you can actually just hover your mouse over that and it'll show up in the bottom left, it'll preview where it's going to direct you. So you can kind of go, is this really going where I want it to go, right? But the best plan of action that you can do when you get any type of email like this is to just step out of it, go log in directly to your account, right? Go directly, don't use any of the links in the message, and log in directly. And if there's a legitimate notification, you'll see it, all right? They do communicate, they're good at that. So you'll get your notifications. So that's one way scammers like to try to send messages.
What do you do with that email? So for example, I've been getting something, McAfee software, whatever, blah, blah, and your account is being charged, $947 for your 3-year renewal keeps coming.
Yeah.
And I keep, my thing is like report spam, in my email. Is there anything better than that to do?
It's excellent to report it first off, because then you're helping them do it and reduce it for everybody. Then the next thing I would do is go, straight to McAfee, go to their official website, contact customer support, and just verify. But otherwise, if you know it's not a legitimate email, just report it and trash it. The next one is smishing scam. Now, all of these are the same thing. They're phishing. It's just they changed the name according to the method, right? So smishing is through SMS. And the SMS is a little bit trickier because SMS means we are on our what? We're on our phones. And we're on our phones, we're probably on the go, we're distracted, we're doing the quick scroll, right? A message comes through from our dentist or whomever, oh my gosh, I didn't realize, click, and I got phished, okay? Now, so anytime you have a message through SMS, same rule applies. Stop, go log in on your computer where you have time to focus. Don't answer immediately. Nothing will fall apart if you don't respond in the next 5 minutes.
Is there, what? 2 questions. One, what happens if you just said, okay, you click on a phishing link, then what? Okay, like, oh shit, it's phishing, you X out. Right. Can you reverse it like, now, okay, you clicked on it, so did they collect anything from me? What do they got?
So, yes and no.
Assuming you don't provide any personal information.
It really depends what kind of link it was, right? It could be they took you to a landing page and they want you to fill in your information, right? Like it looks like a Google landing page, and they want you to log back in to verify something. And it's really a fake page, and so now they've got your credentials to get to your Google account. Or it really can be that something could have happened when you click it. I don't know if it's on smishing, and this is where I'm not technical, so forgive me. If you have certain questions, I can refer you to somebody. But there are cases where, like on a smishing, or phishing, like if you click on it and you've gone somewhere on your computer, right? Then what they've actually done is they've gotten your cookies from your browser. They don't need you to enter your details in now, because why? Because the cookies save all your login stuff, right? If you're not clearing those and if you're not cleaning them up. So sometimes you don't have to enter anything. The fact that you click their special nifty technical link has given them access to your cookies now. So it's yes and no. Yeah.
Does that mean that we should be clearing our cookies like really frequently?
I mean, it doesn't hurt to clean them, not like every day. You don't have to make yourself crazy. But to kind of check, and especially if you think there is something suspicious going on, it wouldn't hurt to go ahead and clear your browser. Beyond that, I would reach out and ask for a professional support, because I can't give you that. That's where my knowledge ends.
Is there a business where I can just forward these emails and these SMSs and they'll tell me if like, yeah, this is clean, this is not?
I don't know.
Because if not, there's a good business idea.
There you go, yeah.
$10 a month,
but yeah.
you know, plus 30 cents an email.
There are slowly becoming more service providers that are focusing on the small, medium business, which is awesome, but it's still kind of slow to come. Social media, how many people have had someone who said, if you get a message from me, my account got hacked? I can't tell you how many of my mom's and my mom's friends, all the time. And all people think, okay, no big deal. And okay, so maybe no big deal, I don't know. But if your social media got hacked for YD Digital and someone decided to just have fun and pull a prank and start posting
Is it funny?
whatever on your business account that you've worked hard on your reputation, that becomes kind of an issue. Not to mention they now have access to all of your contacts and can send them messages and can send them spam and can send them malicious links. So the thing I like to point out here is that even if, okay, so I don't have it connected to my business, so okay, I got my account back, no big deal, right? No harm, no foul, fine, it was just annoying. The thing that I like to say is, when we protect ourselves, we can protect others. And you have to remember, digitally, we are so interconnected. And so maybe you fell real quick and you got hacked and you got it taken care of. But they've already gotten in contact, they've already sent out messages to your other friends and family. And we want to protect them too, right? So I think that's really critical and really important. One other thing, and the one other thing too, is once you've been hacked, whether it's social media, it's your credit card, okay, you get reimbursed, right? People are like, is that really a big deal? The bank will reimburse my money. It's like, not such a big deal. But the thing is, remember, we said at the beginning, it's a business. You clicked, you're in the funnel. Your information now is being shared with all the other criminal underworld to say, hey, this one will fall for it. So now you've just started, you've opened yourself up. It's just the beginning of future attacks. And we want to minimize that. We don't want to increase it. So that's something to just be aware of. Let's see. QR scams, QR codes. Again, you don't have the visibility, just like an SMS. You can't hover over the link. However, there is now, like I have an app actually that will scan it and preview the link for me and tell me is it clean or not. So that's good. If you can minimize using QR codes, especially in public, it's better. Just type it in directly if you can, you know. However, it's always also about recognizing your risk. What's the level of risk here? When it was COVID and we were having to go and wait in the car line and they handed me a paper and it was a QR code, I scanned it because, you know, I went through all the levels of risk here. You know, this is coming from an official in the government. Yes, someone could have, but they didn't, thankfully. But, you know, you just have to weigh the risk. Oh, how much risk are you willing to accept at that time? So you can minimize it, minimize it. My niece in San Antonio a year or two ago, there was a gang going around putting QR codes on the parking meters, right? That wasn't from the city. And people weren't thinking, they're like, oh, cool, scan, move on, right? And they put in their credentials, they paid with their card, and they moved on. But it wasn't the city. Right? So if you're not sure, you're in a hurry, right? If you're not sure, you're in a hurry, you know, do the old way. Do what you know is safe, right? Pay the coins in the meter or whatever it is. And then say, hey, let me see if the city has anything new later when I have time to go through and to think, right? The whole thing is slow down. If you're feeling emotional, stop. Think a little bit. Also, one other tip I've heard from cyber professionals is to say, if you're not sure, read it out loud. Read it out loud to yourself because it forces you to really listen what you're doing. It helps you process what's going on.
But all these things are anti-human nature, so no one's going to do them. People don't actually slow down and think. You know,
They do.
People don't like. Are people in a rush? People don't. That's not like.
If they're scared.
I would say,
Yes, please speak with Rachel afterwards, yes.
If I'm in a rush.
I would like to say,
We're rushed at my first.
Yes.
I'd like to say just because Ayelet's gotten into all this, I have to listen to it constantly.
Sorry.
But it has helped. There have been several phishing attempts where I have gone, wait a second, what would Ayelet do?
Is that a bracelet?
And I found I go, oh, this is actually a phishing attempt. And so I've had several of those, and just because I took seriously what she said, I did stop, think, and then responded correctly. So it's not beyond human ability to do that.
It's just to start noticing the tab.
How scared are you of getting scammed? That's what it comes down
I
to.
suspect that one of the biggest benefits of workforce training in cybersecurity isn't specific knowledge you gain of what to do, what not to do, but the idea that you should be a little bit afraid of doing anything. And then hopefully.
Well, and then it's knowing what to do, right? Like knowing I can do something about it, and that's what we're trying to get to. So phishing is the same thing. All of my slides I'll share with Gabe to share with the group, but all my slides have like something in the notes that you can click and like learn more. There's a YouTube video on this phishing slide where you can see a woman do a live hack on the phone and get into somebody's account in less than a minute. All just by pretending, running a sound of a baby crying in the background. And she has this great story. Oh, I'm so sorry, we just moved and my baby's crying, can you help me out, right? So it's just something to be aware of. Again, not to be scared, but to know that this does happen. And when something doesn't make sense, listen to that little voice and stop and back up. Okay, so just a really quick recap, what can we do? This is Nubaron, one of our mighty heroes who will help us save the day. And again, don't let emotions cloud your judgment. Verify. Call and verify. If you get a text from your husband saying, hey, I just sent you this code. I meant to send it to my number, but it went to your number. Can you just send it to me? Go, wait, no. Call him. Say, did you really send me a code? Right? And just verify. It takes less than a minute, and you'll find out the story, okay? All right, so now let's talk about everybody's favorite joke, the password. All right, this is like one of the things that we have known for 20 years. Cybersecurity professionals have said constantly, you need stronger passwords. But the problem is technology evolves. So what used to be a good password isn't a good password, right? So, but first off, you should know every year there's a list of the top 100 or 200 most commonly used passwords. So you might want to Google it. Just make sure your password is not on there. All right, and then just do a few tweaks. All right, it doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be insane that you can never ever remember it. What makes a strong password? First off, the length. All right. So I don't know if you can see very well. A 7-character password, it takes 1 minute to crack. Okay.
How do they crack it?
Technology.
What I'm saying is, how do they go from 7 to 8 characters is times 60? You know what I mean, or 8 to 9?
I don't know.
Running through all the possible people.
Right, I know the whole thing.
In a brute force
Yeah.
attack.
Yeah.
Okay, but then the more complicated you make it. So 12 characters currently is the standard that you should be aiming for. 12 plus. 2,000 years to crack. This includes lower, uppercase, and a special letter character, okay, or number. So they need to be strong. They need to be unique, right? You should not reuse your passwords. This is one of the most common ways people get hacked. And most especially, you're like, but Ayelet, the average number of accounts a person has is 100 plus, right? So, okay, how do you have 100 unique passwords? Okay, well, you know what I'm going to tell you? Just start with your most important ones. Start with your email, If you're business and you use social, start with your social, start with your financials. Okay? Those three. Make them strong and unique.
In your bank.
And don't reuse them. And financial, yeah. Exactly.
What if I change my password to like, what would I yell at to? So then I would always remember.
As long as-
Yeah, you're selling his
As
bracelets?
long as you don't do that for email and financial, then it's fine. You can do it for one.
All right.
Yeah.
What about like a lot of apps, especially on your phone, a lot of apps don't even use passwords anymore. Even on a computer, like first of all, it's on my phone. I get into my bank account using my thumbprint or my bit or a paybox or whatever. That's just my thumbprint. And then also on my computer, a lot of things are like, oh, we'll just send you a one-time password. It's not even.
So one-time password is actually like more secure. That is what some people are trying
That's
to
what
move
we do.
away. The industry trying to move away from passwords generally, but at this time it's not the case. So you still need to have a unique and strong
It's
password.
really
What about the
websites
thumbprint
seem to use
thing?
the one-time password thing.
Do what?
Mine does.
ATM.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
So,
Their
I mean,
ATM
so it's
card
good.
doesn't mess you.
So real fast though, I just want to keep moving because I don't want to keep us too long. How do you make a strong password? It's really easy. I love this method. It's make a passphrase. Choose 4 random words, right? Network, blue, tickle, soda. All right? Throw in some special characters, throw in substitute out some numbers, squish it all together, and you've got it. And it's actually easier to remember when it's something so random and unique, right? Now again, we have 100 plus accounts. So I actually recommend a password manager. We have an internal joke about Dashlane, love it or hate it. It's still recommended, but you have to learn how to use it well. And so that does come with a little learning curve. I'm happy to help sit with people and help work through it if you need help. However, there is a use case for just a good old-fashioned notebook that you keep, if it's safe. You know, if you're not, grandkids aren't going to get to it. If you know you work from home and it doesn't, nobody's going to have high access to it. There is a use case to have it written down. The negative is, what do you do when you're out and about and you need it? It's at home in the drawer. So that's where password managers come in handy.
What about
You must have it to
auto
yourself.
logins? Like the auto login. So you go to log in and it's like, oh, okay, autofill, right? Because it saved it in my magical password land of wherever.
Yeah, Chrome is my password manager. Is that okay?
So they're actually becoming better. It used to be like a year or two ago, they said they didn't recommend, they're not as strong as your regular, like Dashlane, like LastPass and those things. But they said they are making progress, they are stronger. The negative is if you're on another computer and you don't have your Chrome, then you're sunk.
Can't you just log into your
Right?
phone?
Whereas if you use Dashlane or LastPass, they don't care what browser you're using. So I would say the browser is better than nothing. However, just make sure you have a strong password on that account for Google, right? If it's Chrome
What
so.
about apps? What are the apps that say that give you different passwords and juggle it around?
So I use my password manager, and my password manager is the one that I allow with autofill. That's the one I give
Yeah,
permission to
it does the
autofill.
same thing. It does the autofill thing also.
What do you use?
Do you also use Dashlane?
I have used Dashlane. I've used Bitwarden. I know professionals who really like 1Password. So you can research those, and again, I have some resources in the notes. And some people are like, but if I use a password manager, all my eggs are in one basket. Isn't that like a bad thing, right? Someone cracks that password manager, now they have everything. Yes, but the likelihood, if you reuse your passwords, you are much like 1,000 times more susceptible to being, hacked than if you use a password manager. Those things are locked down tight because they have their reputation to depends on it. And even then, I think LastPass had some sort of breach, but it wasn't the actual vault itself. Look, breaches happen. They're gonna happen. That's just it. But if we can minimize our risk, then we minimize stress on ourselves, stress on our business. We minimize downtime. It's just only positive.
Should we just go full Amish and get rid of all technology? Is that what you're suggesting?
Sometimes I feel like running off to it. For sure. The more I read the professionals I follow, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like, this is going off grid. Okay, however, that nice long little spiel about passwords, and I'm going to say, it's not enough though, right? Security is about layers. Passwords are the very bottom. It's like we have the key lock, that's our password in the door. Now we want to add a deadbolt, okay? And the deadbolt is called MultiFactor Authentication. Oh, real fast, if you go to Have I Been Pawned, you can put your email in and see if it's been involved in any data breaches for different places. It's a trustworthy site. You can go to it.
I don't recommend it.
Yeah, I don't want to know.
Ignorance is bliss.
I used to enter your emails for you.
I know. I haven't changed the password since you left too.
Google Chrome actually will tell you, if you use it for
Yes.
passwords, it'll tell you that, these passwords you should change. I never listened to it.
I'll send
Yeah, exactly.
I'll send the slides. I don't have it.
I was gonna
And
more
also, that's
comments
another
before.
advantage of password managers. They will also do that. They will also monitor your dark web
They'll
activity.
give you a score also.
Yes.
Your passwords.
All right, so what is multi-factor authentication? It's known as MFA or 2FA, two-factor authentication. Hello hates it. But part of it is, it was a learning curve for me as well. But once you learn it, it's just like learning to buckle or put on your helmet. It becomes like this. So multi-factor is where you have to supply one more form of ID before you can get into your account, right? But it's something that you have or something that you know. And so there's a few different ones. Okay, so this is good. So even if your nice strong password was involved in a data breach because of a company and not because of you, that even though the criminals got access to your password, they can't get in because you have MFA on, and they still need that extra step, and they can't authenticate. So most of us know this as the code, right? That's sent to your phone on SMS. And that's a decent form of multi-factor. It's not the best. It's actually more susceptible. For most of us mortal people, using the Authenticator app is the best for us, right? And basically, it's an app on your phone. Google has it, Microsoft has it, Authy. And basically, you sign into your account with your password, and then it's going to say, and I need the code from your Authenticator app. You put your code in, and it lets you in. You don't have to do this every time. You only have to do this on new devices, which is good.
But that's
because
only for Google and Microsoft.
no, it's not. You can use it for anything. It's called the Google app, like Google Authenticator, Microsoft Authenticator. But you use it for anything, right? So you only have to do it when either everything resets for some reason, or when you're on a new device, it will ask you to re-authenticate. So it's not that you have to do this every time, right? So that's good. Again, it's habits. It's becoming used to a new way of doing things. And once you do it, it doesn't take. It slows you down for just a few seconds, and you're in. And the ROI of anything that I could get you to do today, I would encourage you to turn on MFA. They offer it on almost all accounts now. At the minimum, it's SMS. It's better than nothing. Turn it on. But if you can do an Authenticator app, do that. Again, I'm happy to help people if you have trouble setting it up. I'm not super technical, but I figured it out. I can help you in most cases. But this gives you the highest ROI. I can tell you how many professionals, security professionals, that I listen to and I follow, and they say if they would have had MFA turned on, this wouldn't have happened.
It's an ROI.
A return on investment. Thank you. Yes. I'll give you the biggest bang for your buck. Okay. So really fast. Am I doing okay? I'm going a little over. Sorry, but we have some questions.
You're great.
Are y'all doing okay on time? Okay. Fine. So I just want to quickly talk about public Wi-Fi, because a lot of us are entrepreneurs or work remotely. We like to go to the cafe, get on public Wi-Fi, and work. Yeah? Great, but not so great, because criminals do like to set up their own Wi-Fi, and they like to call it Starbucks Wi-Fi, right? So you need to just check. Again, it's all about verifying. Just go to the barista and ask, what's the official Wi-Fi name here? Okay? But even then, don't do any sensitive stuff on the public Wi-Fi. Okay? Look at your YouTube videos or whatever, but don't do banking. If you're going to do that, use your mobile data. Okay, that's really the best thing. And use a VPN. It wouldn't hurt to do a quick check and make sure it's a reputable VPN service, because there are some that are less so.
How much do VPNs actually help? Like, what are they stopping? What are they preventing?
You're shaking your head, yes. You want to give the more technical answer?
Basically, everything you do on the internet is encrypted and sent to the VPN, so you're not passing any data directly, you're passing encrypted data to and from someone else.
So, but so all my stuff is sent
It
encrypted.
scrambles your data. So like
Yeah.
when people want to stream, I want to stream movies from America, but I live in Israel. They know I live here, so I use a VPN, and now I can.
Right,
stream
that
it.
Well,
that I
that's-
understand,
So,
right?
but it
This is-
scrambled my data so that I can get access to something.
Okay, so it scrambles.
it for
Right.
criminals.
So it's
Okay.
not easily like.
When
Like
the
Amazon
U.S.
does.
wanted to spy on terror hotspots, they would set up internet cafes, and they would just collect all the right next to the mosques on Friday, and then the terrorists would come in to the internet cafes run by the U.S. Intelligence agencies and use it to do all their stuff, and then the agencies that run the cafe would hoover up all the data and then counter the threats. But if they'd use VPNs, then they could hoover up all the data, but they couldn't read it anyway. So that's the benefit. Well,
Thank you.
that's the advantage of a VPN. Now, the other difference is they ran the computers too. That's how you face it.
Right, yeah.
That was also
That's
yeah.
true.
So that's just just some quick basics on public Wi-Fi. Just to be aware of, ransomware, you know what ransomware is? Ransomware is when your computer gets completely taken over. You can't access it, you've lost access to your data, and then you get a nifty message that says, we'll give it back to you if you pay us. Okay?
Does that happen to people?
Yes.
No,
It's a big business.
Often. The most common form of delivering ransomware is through phishing emails, right? Phishing messages. So if we pay attention to those little red flags because it's worth it, y'all, we will minimize our risk for ransomware, okay? So really the same rules for phishing emails, which we didn't talk about downloads. If you see a message that has a download and you're just like something seems off, don't download it, okay? Because it could actually run a file and put a keylogger on your computer, which tracks all of your, typing and what you enter, or it can ransom your computer, right? Like just take a step back, call the person, verify, make sure it's trusted. Even if it's from somebody you know, call them real fast. A phone call doesn't hurt. All right, USBs, just real fast. USBs, I don't use them very much anymore, but people still do. The main thing that I think is really interesting about USB safety is actually your computer. And when you are traveling, don't just leave your computer in your hotel room. Make sure it's locked up and inaccessible. Because what stops, and not to say anything bad about cleaning crews, but what stops them from cleaning your room nice and neat and then inserting a USB into your computer, that again puts a keylogger or something on your computer so that when you open it back up and get going, now they can have access to your data. So it's really important, and don't let people just plug their phone into your computer just for fun, right? Just give them a plug to the wall and be like, here, I've got you covered. Because you don't know what kind of security they've been doing on their phone and on their devices. It's not to be rude, and it's not to make ourselves crazy, that it's just a new habit, a new way, a new mindset of thinking.
How do you sleep at night?
What's that called?
Melatonin? No. Okay.
How do I sleep?
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
Right, okay, so wire fraud, real fast, gonna touch on wire fraud. I think the thing that's most common for us is, again, just to ask questions. Why did this person, my vendor, who I've been working with, or the seller or the buyer, why did they suddenly ask me to change the information that I already gave them, right? Why are they asking me to change the routing number? Why are they asking me to change the name? What's going on? So what should you do? Do a quick call. Not from the email, from the number you have saved in your phone, okay? So just a quick call. It takes like a minute and you can avoid so much grief. It's really especially good if you have a secretary, someone over your payments, to make sure they know this and they know, and there's a protocol for them to follow. Anytime that they get a request to change information for payments, they have a procedure they follow so that they don't just do it. They call, they verify, they use the number that they have already originally gotten. They don't use anything from the email that's requesting it, because it could be wire fraud. And once you've sent it, you authorize the payment. What's the bank gonna do? I'm sorry, but you're the one that sent the money. So it's just something, again, not to be afraid of, but we have to just change the way we think and just start questioning. Why are they asking this? Okay? And if you're not sure, verify. So we already covered how to avoid wire fraud. Our nifty superhero, Ryo. This nifty lightning is gonna zap, hopefully, all those people. So, okay, so what do you do as a small business, right? First off, educate yourself. So thank you for coming. And educate anybody that works with you. You have an employee, you have, vendors even. Like, just do a quick, hey, I'm checking because ABC. And then start making best practices of security, like we just talked about, a second habit, a second nature, right? Again, I know I just ran through a whole lot of things. For some of you, it was new. For some of you, it was review. But it's just start with one thing. Get that down and then add something to it. So the slides that I'm going to share with you, this last resource, is all free resources. If you're going, I think I'm doing okay, but I'm not really sure, I want to check how my security is. S2Me is an amazing organization, a company really, but they have a personal online security assessment, completely free. They're great guys that run it. I know them personally. They're really amazing. And you just go through it. It's going to take a little bit of time to go through, but it's worth it. Just to go through, and you'll kind of get an idea. Okay, where do I need to improve? Where's the first place I need to improve, right? Just like with business, business continuity involves having a backup, having a plan to keep going in case of emergency. Cybersecurity should be one of those emergencies. You need a backup. You need to have backups regularly. Maybe that's where you need to improve, right? So just see what is the biggest risk for you in your business and how you interact day to day. Focus on that. You don't have to do everything all at once. It's too much. It's overwhelming and it's impossible, right? It's not going to create good habits. A good habit starts with one thing. Start with one. Of course, these next three are all from Wizer. That's the company I work for. One of the reasons I love working for Wizer is because they have this social responsibility of making sure online safety is accessible to everyone. So we have really great, just 7 habits for cybersecurity, basic steps. It'll help walk you through how to do backups. It'll walk you through how to better secure your phone for online privacy. It'll walk you through some of these steps that we've talked about, MFA and other things. We have a YouTube on Wizer. We have Wizer on YouTube. They're 1-minute videos, easy to watch, informative, fun, they're not boring. You'll learn a lot.
Are you in any of them?
I am not, no.
Not yet.
And then if you have a company and you want to train your employees, we also have a basic training program that's for free. It gives you all the basics of kind of what we covered today, and you can run it, you can track who's done it, who hasn't done it, right? You can kind of just to try to encourage them to finish it, complete it. And also another thing, if your business is contracting with governments or contracting with larger companies, they're going to start requiring that you are compliant, that you are doing some sort of security, because third vendor risk is a real risk now, because you may be small, but if you're working for a big company, guess what? You're their way in to that big company. So big companies are cracking down on their vendors and their service providers. So that's also something to think about, why it's also a good thing to start taking a little more seriously. And then Global Cyber Alliance, if you want to up your security even more, they have other tools for like your DNS, and don't ask me what that is, y'all. But like for for website security and other things, they have also free tools available for small business. So, all that to say is that you can be your own business's superhero. Thank you to Yalawa, is his name right? Inferno, he's our Korean superhero. Just staying a little bit safer. If all of that is overwhelming and I've completely gone against what I'm trying to do, and it's too much, I yelled it. I have a WhatsApp group. It's a quiet WhatsApp. I give like 1 tip a week when I'm on top of it. Sometimes I've fallen off. Just 1 tip a week, something small, right? Just to kind of start building your awareness. So thank you so much for letting me share with you. I really appreciate it.
Ayala, why don't you have a superhero view?